Yo, welcome. It's Makwala Agri. I'm telling you my story today, guys. Just want to share with you the background of my business. How did I actually ended up being here today? As you guys see me selling chickens, sharing information about broilers, how to raise them, how to sell, and everything. So since I've shared all this information, I thought of maybe sharing my story. Maybe there's someone out there who's interested on knowing actually how did you end up selling chickens? Like how did you end up being where you are today, creating content on YouTube, um, selling chickens, and now trying to do a little bit of crop farming. How did I actually end up being here? How did I actually ended up selling chickens? So my story begins in 2019. It's now 2019. I've graduated. Got my diploma in financial accounting. I'm cruising nicely. I believe that I'm gonna get a job. You know, life is gonna be good. Now I'm gonna drive Golf 7 GTI. Now I'm not. You know, life is gonna be good for me. And we start to apply for jobs now. It's me and my friend Dukes, my best friend. Start to apply for jobs. There's no luck. Apply for jobs, no luck. It's now around June. Remember, I finished school in 2018. Then I graduate the following year. So yeah, I finished in 2018. That's when I wrote my final exam, November 2018. February, I get my result. Completed my diploma. Yeah, I'm happy now. March, graduation. Then you get a certificate. Now you don't apply with academic record, you apply with the real estate certificate now that says you qualified a financial accounting. I have a diploma in financial accounting. If you're looking for someone to handle your finances, you're looking at the right guy, guys. So I didn't study farming because maybe some people they thought maybe I did a course about farming. I've studied farming. I didn't study anything with farming related. What I did in school, it was finance, purely finance. Even in my high school time, the subject that I chose, it was purely commerce. So I was doing commercial stream. So what we had there, it was economics, business, and accounting. So yeah, I'm a finance guy, man. I'm a finance boy. So yeah, I thought maybe I will work at the bank someday. You know, I'll be a financial accountant, maybe. But you know, life takes you different way. I never made it to that point of pursuing that financial career. What? So 2019, me and my friends busy applying for jobs. No luck. We start thinking of businesses now. That's what every entrepreneur think of when they're broke and unemployed. If you have that entrepreneur mind, you think of business. But even if you are not an entrepreneur, but most of people when they are unemployed, they think of what can I do to bring food on the table? What can I do to keep my mind busy? You know, business nyana, kawash, you know, kotanyana. Eh? That's when a lot of ideas come to a lot of young guys. So yeah, as a young guy, I start to think of business as well. Okay, Dukes, scheme. Hey man, I got business nyana. Oh no, one year. Life is tough. You gotta try something, man. Gotta try build businesses. We grew up in a family where our parents don't even own anything. They don't even have a taxi. They're not getting any royalties somewhere, man. Like they only get their salaries. So we're on our own. We gotta try build something for our own self. So yeah, we think of business. I have an idea of layer chickens. My friend have an idea of broiler chickens. And along the way, I ended up doing broilers, and he ended up going back to school. Um, Going back to school for me was never an option. I never wanted to go back to school at that time. Maybe because at the later stage I wanted to, but I was like, come on, let me pursue this business thing, and see where it leads me. So he decided to register and go back to school. And yeah, I decided to pursue the business side of things. And he go back to Joburg. I think by the time he was working, I think, yeah, he was working, but he also applied to go back and study. So he's doing his engineering course now, and he's completing, I think, soon. But yeah, the story is not about that. The story is about how did I get here. So we move to now. It's around June, and I'm stressed. 6 months still unemployed, and my friends by that time is employed. He went back to Joburg. He's working, and then what happened is that he takes me to one of his old friends from high school. The guy studied, I think, animal production in the University of Limpopo. He takes me one day, we go and see the guy. And I explain to the guy what I want to do. You, man, I want to start this broiler farming thingy. No, I want to start poultry farming, but I want to focus on layer chickens and stuff. And then the guy explained to me that to start with layers is very expensive. It's not like you start with broilers. Broilers are cheap. Both of this type of farming, they want to need houses. First thing, the structure. They both gonna need a house. And if you're gonna buy point of layer, they're hell expensive. If you're gonna raise them yourself, it's gonna take time. So a layer, it's a long-term investment. To put it in a short way, a layer farming is a long-term investment, and it needs you to have money to, like, a lot of money to start it. That's why even today I haven't tapped into it, is because it requires a lot of money. Plus right now it's hard to get chicks for layers, and if you want to buy point of layers in today's market, you are looking at around 175 rand. But back in 2019, when I wanted to start, I think they were pushing layers around 120 point of layers. So you can check how crazy the amount is now. So the guy explains to me that broilers are easy to raise, fast to make cash, and if you're looking for something that you wanna sustain your life with in a short period of time, like you wanna do this thing quick and have money now, do broilers. And the cost of starting broilers, it's very low compared to layers. Layers probably is twice. It needs twice the amount. Let's say you want to start with 100. With broilers, you're gonna probably need 4.5 for production, and then if you're building a house and everything, let's say a good 30k can set you up 2 small houses, and yeah, and then you start with your second. So 30 to 40,000 you can start. But with layers, you are looking at around 60k, to 60 to 80 to start. So, and I'm talking about a capacity of 100. So you see that the numbers there, they're very crazy. So the guy explained that to me, that, Chief, I will say to you, or the advice that I'll give you right now, is to start with broilers. And in the near future, if you really want to go into layers, you can tap into layers. But for now, as a beginner, start with layers, broilers, and then yeah, you make your money back very fast, very quick. So, but that time, I don't have any money though. So I don't have money. Nothing. I'm broke. Remember, I just graduated and I'm unemployed, sitting at home, broke. I have no funds to start this business, and now I need to go and look for a job, because my family couldn't fund me to start the business, and which I understood at the later stage why they didn't want to fund it. Not that they didn't support it. No, they're very supportive to what I do, but they didn't want to fund it because um, sometimes people say that they want to do business, and you find out that actually they don't want to do business. They just wanted something to keep their mind busy. One of the reasons I'm saying this is because people will say, "Hi, I'm unemployed. I want to start a business." They start a business. Once they get employed, they leave that completely that business, and then they shut it down, and then they focus on their job because that's what they wanted. The job is what they want, not the business. So I guess they wanted to see if I really want this business thing, or it is just for now for me just to keep myself busy. And they just didn't want to waste their money on something that I'm gonna drop it along the way if something comes up. So yeah, that's what I'm saying, that I understood it at the later stage, even if they didn't say it to me, but the message I got it later when I started the business. So now I buy. Oh, by the way, I had like 20k that I've saved during my time when I was studying in Pretoria. So I've saved about 20,000. So when I graduated, I think I was sitting there with 20k on my bank account. Now, because I want to pursue business, I buy a land. Hey, the first mistake that I did was to buy a land. I buy a land and then now I'm out of money. I buy a land, I fence up the land, and then I run out of funds. So now I do what other people do: write a business plan, apply for funding. Hey, utahlehla man. Department of what? Department of Agriculture. You go there, you log, you ask for funding, no lag. You go to land bank. Imagine, we even went to land bank to try and get some fund from land bank, and then yeah, we came back with no luck. Yeah, land bank told us stories. I went to the offices in Polowani. There was a lady there that was assisting me. Hey, the requirement that they wanted. Hey, they were out of this world, man. I couldn't. I couldn't. So yeah, we don't get fund. We don't get funding at all. My friends by that time is working in Joburg. I'm still at home. And one day I'm at home sitting, and then I'm checking on the internet. What can I do? What ways can I make quick cash, man? I wanna make some money quick. Then I see this thing Takealot. You guys have been wondering why I'm always wearing Mr. D, the reflector. So that's why I've got the reflector. So I used to work there actually. So one day I apply for Takealot. They accept me. Sometimes you just have to lie to your parents to get things done. So they accept me, and then I knew that what was going to happen. I tell my mother that, hey, Mamzo, hey, can you go choosy? Can I interview a spy? When you tell your parents that you have a interview for work, they get excited. So yeah, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. So I'm like, hey, can I borrow the car? Because the Polo that I drive, the one that you guys know, that Polo, it was actually it's a family car. My mom bought that car in 2021, I think. No, 2011. Yeah, I was still in high school when she bought the car. By the way, I'm still young, guys. I may be having beards and look very old, but I'm still very young. I'm on my late 20s. Yeah, I'm still young, man. Late or middle 20s. I don't know how you balance it. When does it start to be late, and when does it be middle? So, but I would say I'm at my middle late 20s there. So you can guess my age. I'll tell you how old I am later. So yeah, I push. I take the car. I went to Joburg. I go to my sister's place. Yo, sister, I have a job interview at Takealot. Yeah, so I go there, Takealot. They ask, what kind of job? What kind of job? I'm like, I'm gonna be a driver. I don't tell them that I'm gonna be using this car. So I got there, got the job interview. I was there training. You just go there for training. 1 day training. They train you how you use the app. Like they're just showing you basically basic things. How you're gonna use the app. How do you scan the parcel? How do you deliver? How to approach the customers when you get to them, and those kind of things, So then now I tell my mom, like, yo, I need to use the car for this job that I got. I'm gonna be signing a contract, blah blah blah. And they're like, okay, cool. Since the car has been sitting here at home not doing nothing, yeah, you can use it. Fine. That's how I start to work at Takealot. So remember, my goal, it was to work, save up money, go back home, start the business, because that's all I wanted. And one of the reason why I actually wanted business is because I grew up around people who are working. Grew up with my aunt, my uncle working, and then all I hear from all these people who are working, since I was young until today, I still hear it. No one is happy at their work. Like, these people are miserable, man. Like, they will complain about work and complain about their boss, deadline this, this person does this at work. Like, none of them were happy, and I'm like, I don't want to be these people. Totally, I don't want to be these people. I don't want to stress that. I don't want to be stressed, man. I don't want to be stressed about someone. I want to be stressed about the boss. I want to be the one who's stressy, So my mindset from day one, it was that save up money, go back home, start a business. Doesn't matter how fun Joburg it was for me. It didn't matter, like, because when I left Joburg, I was at the peak of making money. When you are making money, and then everything is right in your life. Like, there's money coming left and right. Because when I left, I was at a place where I was not broke. I always had money, always eating takeaways. And yeah, I'll just tell you what happened, how I got to that level. So 2019, I take a lot. When we were about to end 2019, I think it was around October 2019, because I think I started the Takealot in September, October. Yeah, October 2019, I got to be introduced to inDrive. So inDrive, those who don't know inDrive, it's like your Uber, your Bolt, so the same thing. So I got to be introduced to inDrive. I applied to become a driver on inDrive. Fill up everything. Lucky enough, before I left home, I did public. Those who know that public, like, if you are looking for a job as a driver, they need public. So as well as inDrive and so on, they need you to have public. So I've applied for public. I have public now. So I get to Joburg. I'm working at Takealot. Takealot doesn't need public, by the way, but inDrive and those other things, they need public. So I get accepted on inDrive as a driver. So now I have two jobs. I never call them hustles. No, I was not hustling. I was working. So I get two jobs now. I'm working as a Takealot driver, which is Takealot and Mr. D. It's one thing. So early in the morning, you go to the Takealot harbor in the area that you work in. You are given parcels. Your super ballist things and your things that you buy on Takealot super ballist, you get those things. You go and deliver those. After 9 in the morning, the restaurants start to open. People start to order breakfast and so on. Then you now be on your app for Mr. D and Takealot. So now you deliver parcels as well. You're getting delivered for food and so on. So, but I didn't like parcels. So I love delivering food, because food came with a lot of tips. So I love tips. So I was working, when I started, I was working in the area of Midstream. Do you know Midstream Estate? I used to work that side. Yeah, that side that place got money for days. Yeah, in a day you can make 500 on tips only. Not counting the trips that you have made for food. Those people buy cheap and the tip is nice. The problem with Midstream is that it was far from restaurant. So you'll spend a lot of money on petrol. By the way, so I switched to Littleton. So I started working in Littleton. What I loved about Littleton as well was because it has some few estates that you go into. But what I loved the most about Littleton, it was the complex is like the mall. It's not far. Centurion Mall. It's not far. You have your Gin Crossing. You have this other one where there's DS, and you have that other one where there's KFC. You have what? And then, yeah, I think there were 3 complexes on that Gin Avenue. 3 or 4, I forgot how many. But yeah, I know that place in and out. Centurion. That's where everything started. So when I was working there in Centurion, I was also doing my inDrive. And by that time, I was the only driver for inDrive. So now I'm working in Takealot and inDrive. Takealot, inDrive. Takealot, inDrive. When it's quiet on Takealot, I switch to inDrive. And when I know that it's busy here on inDrive, I switch off the Takealot app and then I focus on inDrive. So I'm coining it both sides now, you know. Money for petrol, we make it on inDrive. So the money that we get from Takealot now, it goes straight to savings. The money that we get from inDrive, it's the one that I buy myself food. It's the one that I pour petrol. Then it says 2020 January. I got a call from the Department of Agriculture. Then I get a job to work at the GCRA, the bursary thing. Yeah, worked there for a year. So it was a 1 year contract as an intern. They hire us there. Then I worked at GCRA, Gauteng Regional Academy. I forgot what they call it. But they deal with bursary. So those who are looking for bursary, if you have a brother or sister who's looking for bursary, do check them out, GCRA. So I worked for GCRA, and then I was working with some good people, man. There's a lady that we became friends that I was working with. We pushed. Then after 6 months, they shifted me to procurement. Then now I work at Holland. I work at Holland. I work at the head office, Department of Education in the head office. So I was working there. Next part of procurement, I was working under the procurement department. We deal with your RFQs, the tendering process and stuff. So I was working there for a good year, and then now I have 3 jobs: inDrive, Takealot, the Department of Education gig. I was doing internship now, so I have 3 incomes now. And there was another dodgy thing that I was doing, man. You know those ones who smoke. There's something that they sell. Yeah, so I was doing that dodgy deal. There was a dodgy deal that I was doing. So when I was doing inDrive, there's a guy actually when I was still studying in Pretoria. At the flat that I was staying, down the stairs, just outside the flat, he was actually pushing his stuff there. So I will chill with him most of the time. And then when I was working, doing inDrive and then delivering for Mr. D. So one day, this white guy, they were having a party, so they ordered a lot of pizzas and stuff. So they were having a party, and then the guy says to me, "Do you know where we can get something, man? Like just having a party." And then we're missing something. I'm like, "Oh, okay, you wanna get high? No, I can hook you up." So, okay, hook me up. I'm like, "Okay, just give me your number. I'll come back and deliver to you." He's like, "Okay, cool." So a banky, I'll buy it for like 50 rand and sell it for 150. So I'm like, these guys, they're willing to pay for this amount. This guy's a good man. Because remember, those guys stay in estate, so 150 to them, it's nothing. Plus, I'm delivering it like to their doorsteps. They paid. I'm like, maybe I should add this one as my income as well. So now I have like 4 income. So every time I'm in the car, I always have them in the car by that time, because I knew a guy in Pretoria that I will go and get them from. So I'll stock from him and then I put them in my car. Sometimes I'll leave some where I was staying. By that time I moved out because when I firstly got into Joburg, I was staying with my sister. And the following year, when I got another gig where I was doing my intern, I moved out because now I need to have, my bebezanyana coming over, because now I'm staying with my sister. I can't bring ladies at their place. Then I must find someone. I can't always be bookie, man. I must find my own place, to chillax and have fun. But my focus was always been hustling. I was not about partying and stuff. So 2020 now, I'm pushing. COVID hit. Oh, people are stressed now. What's if I Valley country? They're closing the country now. Everything shut down. No more inDrive. No more Takealot. Lucky enough, I still have the gig from the Department of Education. So even though I'm not going to work, I'm still getting paid. It's you sign a contract, man. Your salary is fixed. They need to pay you even if you're not coming to work. So yeah, I'm getting paid. I'm pushing. Now I negotiate rent where I was staying with the guy. The good bro of my Edgar. He's a good brother of mine. And then negotiate the deal with him. Like, okay, no stress, boy. You can pay half. I'm like, okay, cool. At least 2 months, nyana, half of half rental then and fine. I was staying in Kyalami by that time. Staying in Kyalami Ridge. There's a estate there in Kyalami called Kyalami Ridge. So I was staying in that estate by that time. Yeah, I negotiated my rent to 1.5. Imagine in an estate paying 1.5. I was living a good life, guys. So yeah, we're pushing, we're rocking. It's too big. I'm not, man. The president announced level 4. Now this is where my life start to be interesting when coming to money wise. So remember, it's COVID time. They closed the country. People are not making money at all. President announced. I was in Limpopo. I remember when they said they're closing the country. I'm like, I'm not gonna be closed down here in Gauteng. Rather go home. So I was home in Limpopo. The president announced level 4, and then he announced that he will allow people who work to go to cross the country. They want to have to cross the provinces. They want to have an opening 7 days or whatever. I forgot what did he announce, but yeah, gave us like 7 days to relocate, go back to wherever you will be when you go to work, and you need a permit, whatever, those kind of things. Then I go back to Joburg now because it's May, I think. They closed the country in March. I forgot March, and then they open it. No, they closed the country in April. Open it in May. Yeah, May. I'm going back to level 4. It started in May. I'm going back to Joburg. Only in May, when we were, remember they said restaurant can operate only on food deliveries. Like they can only operate, but only deliveries. Like no walk in. You only do your orders on Mr. D and what? Takealot. Mr. D and Uber Eats. So it's only us now on the street of Centurion, all over the country. Whoever was on Mr. D that year, 2020, whoever was working on at Mr. D, May, if there's anyone who's watching this and he knows that he worked on Mr. D during COVID in May, guys, we made money. I don't want to lie. I think that month alone, I walked away with around 30k, if I'm not mistaken. Only from Mr. D, 30k, plus the gig that I had from the department, plus the inDrive. I made good money that year. I won't lie, 2020. I made like that month alone, not counting other months after that, but that month and before that, I was still coining it. Before they closed the country, I was still coining it. But that month alone, I made probably 40k. That month alone, from all my 4 hustles. That the other one which I don't want to mention, but yeah, those who know, they know. Those who they know what I'm talking about. If you like getting high, you know what I'm talking about. So that was my other hustle. And then what else? inDrive was the other hustle. They were my jobs, man. I don't like calling these things hustles. When you say, I feel like when people call something a hustle, they disrespect those who take it serious. So I had like 4 jobs that I was pushing, and then yeah, they were making me good, man. I think that month alone I made around 40 to 50,000 in May alone, and the months to follow. And then when you start to think that you have a lot of money in your bank account. Because I remember at some point I was sitting at around 100 and something thousand in my bank account, and I started to be lazy. I started not to take a lot serious. But some of the reason why I started not to take it serious is because now, after COVID, when they were at level 3, things were relaxed. Everybody, those people who lost their job, they jumped on Takealot. Those who had cars that they were owing, they jumped on Takealot and Uber Eats. So drivers became a lot. The money was a little because Takealot, all these companies, they don't care about you as a driver. They only care about them being convenient to their customer. That's the dangerous thing about working with Mr. D, Uber Eats, and so on. They don't care about you as a driver, how many orders you do a day. All they care is about them being convenient to their customer. So all they care about is having 1,000 drivers on the road, knowing that whenever an order comes in, the order get to be delivered fast. That's the only thing they care about. They don't care about you. If we are 100 and then it's us 100 of us against one order per minute, like per hour you get, let's say we are 100 and per hour we are getting 5 orders. They don't care if at the end of the day all of us maybe will do 5 orders or 3 orders. They don't care as long as they're convenient to their customers. That's what matters to them, these companies. So that's another thing that I actually learned. And then when I actually started my business, I wanted to be convenient to people. So that's why even today, people don't come to me and buy chickens. They call me, they order, and then I slaughter and I go to deliver to them. So that's another thing that I added. Like, you should be creative and be convenient as an entrepreneur. So those days where I was working in Takealot, they actually taught me that convenience, it's the biggest thing that people don't understand in business. If you're doing haircut and then people don't need to come to you for their cut, you can go to them and cut them, and then it's convenience, bro. Imagine maybe I have an old time at home, like I have a grandfather who can't walk and can't do anything, and then you just come there and then provide your service of cutting him a hair and then you leave. Like, that's convenience. So those are things that I got to experience being in Joburg, that, man, people are creative, and the best way to survive in business is to be convenient. So that's why I applied some of those principles in my business. And when I look at some of the best movies that I love, the movie about BlackBerry, the movie about Uber, those are the kind of things that I watch, by the way. So I don't just watch any movies. I love movies that actually builds me. So when I look at the movie of the guy that was building Uber, that guy was genius, man. Even though at the end of the day he lost his company, he lost his CEO position. By the way, he's still the owner, but he lost his CEO position at Uber. But that guy, man, like, that guy is genius. Props to that guy. That guy knew what he was doing, knew what he was building, and then looking at Uber today, it's wow. It's one of the biggest company globally. So those are the guys that actually motivates me. When I watch their movie, watch their story, they motivate me. So yeah, that's how I actually got to fund my business. So I was working 4 jobs to actually fund my business. So that's what I'm saying. My business is self-funded. So fast forward, now I'm starting to get drunk too much. I start not to do inDrive. I'm focused because I have money in the bank account, feeling like, I know this money is enough for me to go back home and start my business. I start to live a little, have fun with friends, go partying. Plus it was during COVID, man, so things were closed. So whenever we get a chance to party, we party, and then stuff like that. So yeah, that's all. That's the story actually for me to become. That's the story for me to become who I am today. It started there, 2019, and then goes into 2020. So 2020 December, my contract came to an end at the Department of Education. It was a 1-year contract that started in January, ending in December 2020. It comes to an end. Now it means 1 gig is dropping out. So I'm not getting paid in the next following year, which is 2021. I'm never going to be getting paid again in 2021. So the gig is going to end. we speak to someone there, and then because 2020 it's COVID, we stayed our case. We didn't learn anything, give us a second year, blah 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 blah. And then yeah, it was promising actually to get our contract to be renewed, and then we were gonna get a second year. We were gonna get we were supposed to get the our contract was supposed to be renewed, and then continue with our internship for the second year, which was gonna be 2021. But now I'm thinking like inDrive is not making that money that I used to make, because if let me just share a little bit about inDrive actually, how I got to make money on inDrive. So when I signed up on inDrive, I was the only, if not the only driver, but I was the only active driver in Centurion, because most of the time when people requested in the beginning of, no, in late 2019, from October there going into 2020, a lot of people, when they were requesting in Centurion, when they were requesting on inDrive, they will find me as a driver. There were no many drivers that were on the app. I remember, because I'll get a request to Pretoria for 150 rand, but now probably if because in drive, the customer actually is the one who determines the amount that they want to pay, because back then there were no drivers. I will bid at a higher amount and then they will accept, because there was no drivers. So I was making good money, because we were few, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, I felt like I'm the only one. But yeah, eventually when months came by, people started to jump on it. Now drivers became a lot. The price started to drop. Now people will take a trip of 50 rand to Pretoria, and I felt like, nah, I'm cutting it. So inDrive was not popping up that money that used to pop. Takealot, it was not giving me that money anymore. Now the lockdown levels, when they dropped, we're on level 3 now. We have a lot of drivers now on Takealot, because people lost their jobs and they have cars and they're looking for something that they can do with their cars so that they don't lose their cars. So they jump on Takealot, they jump on Uber Eats. So instead of us getting like 20 trips a day to deliver food, now you're getting 5. So the money is little. So I also is another thing that actually made me to drop everything and then say, yo, maybe I should go back to my first dream, which is to open my business. And another thing is that I never liked working. So that's another thing. I never liked, working for someone. I don't even have pictures of me at the Department of Education. I don't even have pictures of me wearing Takealot thing, carrying Takealot bag, working then. I don't have those kind of pictures, man. I wish I have documented those moments, because now I was gonna be putting them on this video. But I'll try and check if I have any video or maybe any picture by mistake. But I don't think I have any. Yeah, but it was gonna be a good story with those videos if I have taken videos when I was still working there. But by that time when I was working, I didn't think of content, by the way. So the second video that I'm gonna be doing, I'm gonna be telling you how it started now, how I come home. So I'm gonna drop it here. Let's say now I have 100k in the bank account. It's December 2020. Yeah, December 2020. I'm sitting at 100k in my bank account. I'm going back to Limpopo. Check the next video. Part 2, we're gonna be talking about the story of getting into Limpopo and studying Makwala Poultry before it became Makwala Agri. I used to call it Makwala Poultry. Thanks for watching this video. I'm just preparing an order for a customer. I have 2 customers. One is buying 5 chickens, another one is buying 2. So yeah,